You didn't notice, but they did. The way you moved without asking permission. The way you stayed quiet while everyone else panicked. That wasn't confidence, that was closure. Somewhere behind glass walls, a folder stopped updating. No alerts, no warnings, just silence. That's the kind of silence that makes powerful people start dressing differently. Sharper, cleaner, prepared for exits they won't announce. They thought this was a phase, a delay, a stall. But you weren't waiting. You were being measured. Every loss, every betrayal, every time you didn't react. Graduation exams, disguised as chaos. And now the game feels off, because the file says closed, but no one told them what opens next. Smile. The Endgame never explains itself. It didn't explode. That's what confused them. No arguments, no exit speech, no dramatic collapse. Just calm. The kind of calm that doesn't belong in broken systems. They retrained to detect noise, rebellion, outbursts, public meltdowns. Silence? Silence makes dashboards glitch, because silence means something stopped reporting. You didn't fight back. You didn't beg. You didn't explain. And that's when the room shifted. They thought you quit. That was the first mistake. Quitting is loud. Quitting needs witnesses. Quitting asks to be remembered. You didn't quit. You were cleared. Cleared doesn't come with notifications. It comes with removal. One day, your name just stopped appearing. No new notes, no updates, no concern. They told themselves, you faded. That was the second mistake. Systems don't fear loss. They fear unknown outcomes. Rebels can be punished. Failures can be archived. But someone who goes quiet without breaking, that triggers audits. No one wants to sign. So they watched, not openly, not officially. Observers without titles, eyes without paper trails. They didn't test you with obstacles. They tested you with absence. No feedback, no validation, no resistance. Neglect is the hardest exam. Most people panic, start performing, start explaining themselves. You didn't. You became dull, on purpose, uninteresting, predictable, non-threatening. That was the test. To see who needs attention, to exist. They laughed, thought you lost relevance. That was the third mistake. Because the moment a system gets bored of you is the moment it stops controlling you. Somewhere, a file paused, not closed, not escalated, just paused. And everyone felt it, that quiet pressure, that subtle unease, the feeling that something slipped through without setting off alarms. Mystery doesn't arrive loudly. It arrives when nothing happens, and it shouldn't feel okay. And suddenly, silence was no longer why. Hours. You weren't ignored. You were isolated. Big difference. Ignored people get forgotten. Isolated people get studied. They didn't push you out. They stepped back. Space isn't mercy. It's a filter. Separation is how systems find out who collapses without an audience. No applause, no feedback, no opposition, just distance. That's when most people crack. They start waving, posting, explaining themselves, begging the room to look back. You didn't. And that's when the velvet rope appeared, not in front of you, behind you. You never saw it. That's the point. Real selection doesn't happen on stage. It happens backstage, when the lights are off and nobody's clapping. The loud ones get escorted out. The quiet ones get watched longer. You weren't given a pass. You were given time alone, with no instructions. That's the exam, because power doesn't want performers. It wants people who don't panic. When ignored, angels watched, monsters watched. Neither helped, because help contaminates results. One side looked for restraint, the other looked for cracks. Both waited for you to signal need. You never did, and that unsettled them. The Joker part? Watching the desperate ones trip over themselves for relevance, posting louder, acting wilder, turning pain into spectacle, thinking visibility equals value. Cute mistake. Visibility is liability. The more seen you are, the more easily you're replaced. You went dim on purpose, low signal, low drama, low trace, and suddenly your value went up because rare things don't shout, they disobey. Are until needed. That's the paradox. They never teach. Less attention, more weight, less noise, more leverage. While others begged to be picked, you stopped auditioning. That's when selection begins. No email, no handshake. Just a shift in how long they pause before speaking about you. That hesitation, that's recognition trying not to announce itself somewhere behind the curtain. Notes W, air taken, without your name on the page. Just observations, behavior under silence, response to neglect, ego tolerance levels. You passed without knowing there was a test, and the mystery got heavier. Because now the question wasn't, where did you go? It was, why didn't you come back? File closed doesn't mean you won. That's the lie they sell to keep people calm in power systems. CL. OSED means no longer trackable, no KPIs, no projections, no recovery plans, just removed from the board. No ceremony, no congratulations, because celebrations are for people who still need permission to exist. They stopped documenting you for one reason. You stopped responding to incentives. Praise didn't move you. Criticism didn't slow you. Threats didn't excite you. That's dangerous. Systems survive on predictable reactions. Reward, punish, repeat. You broke the loop by not caring which one came next. So the notes got shorter, then vague, then unnecessary. Why track someone who doesn't ask to be validated? Approval is leverage, and you let go of it. That's when you outgrew their categories. Not promoted, not demoted, unclassified. The Joker part, watching others celebrate fake victories, titles, badges, temporary applause, smiling for cameras that won't remember them. Next cycle, they think winning means being noticed. Cute. The real threat is the one who doesn't clap for themselves or anyone else. You didn't demand closure. You didn't ask for recognition. So they gave you the only thing they give to uncontrollable variables. Silence. File closed. N-O-T because you failed, but because continuing to observe you raised too many questions. Questions lead to audits. Audits lead to exposure. And systems hate explaining what they can't control. The moment you realized you didn't need their green light, something shifted inside you. No anger, no pride, just attachment. That's the transformation, when outcomes matter less than autonomy. When winning stops being a goal and becomes a side effect. They didn't clap. They didn't object. They quietly closed the file and hoped you'd stay where they last saw you. They still think that's where the story ends. That's the joke. Dress was never about clothes. It's posture, timing, energy control. It's how you enter a room without announcing arrival. Survivors don't advertise survival because advertising invites questions. Questions invite scrutiny, and scrutiny comes with hands attached. Hope is loud. Hope posts updates. Hope waits for signs. Hope needs reassurance. Preparedness? Preparedness packs early and doesn't explain why. You stopped hoping things would work out. You started preparing for them not to. That's when your stance changed. Back straight, eyes level, movements economical, no rush, no drag, endgame posture. Elites don't panic. When chaos approaches, they signal exits, subtle ones. Selling quietly, moving assets, changing routines. They don't scream, something's coming. They just stop being available. You learn that language. The Joker joke, watching people put on costumes and call it confidence. Loud colors, big gestures, overcompensation everywhere. Costumes tear, armor doesn't shine. Armor fits close, restricts movement, forces discipline. You chose armor, not to fight, but to endure. Restraint isn't weakness. It's delayed impact. Fear reacts. Restraint waits. You stopped explaining your choices. Stopped justifying your silence. That wasn't withdrawal. That was calibration. Every word measured, every move intentional. You learned how to look calm while calculating exits no one else noticed. That's dressing for the end game, not dramatic, not cinematic, practical, because end games aren't won by the loudest player, but by the one already standing where the board is about to shift. You didn't harden. You refined. Fear makes noise. Restraint creates space, and space is where power moves without friction. That's when people started feeling it. They couldn't name it, couldn't accuse it, just a sense that you were ready, not for victory, not for revenge, for whatever comes next. And that readiness, that's when the power shift quietly began. Power never announces. It's changing hands. That's theater. Real power moves, like gravity, felt before it's understood. No explosions, no declarations, just hesitation. That pause before they speak to you, that second glance they didn't used to take. They don't know when it happened. That's the problem. You didn't demand space. You occupied it by not chasing. Hazers are predictable. They lean forward, over-explain, negotiate against themselves. You stopped, and suddenly, they were the ones, adjusting tone, lowering volume, choosing words carefully, because nothing unsettles a system like someone who doesn't need the outcome. That's when the hierarchy flips. Not on paper, in posture. Who waits? Who speaks first? Who fills silence? Promotion with T announcement. No title change, no email, just a shift in who gets interrupted and who doesn't. The Joker part, watching the realization crawl across their faces too late. That stiff smile, that forced laugh. The moment they understand, you're no longer playing the same game, but can't accuse you of anything. Power hates that, because control requires clear violations. You gave them none. You didn't rebel, you didn't submit. You disengaged from dependency, and that's irreversible. Once someone learns, they don't need permission. They don't unlearn it. So pressure builds, not on you, on them. Meetings get delayed, decisions stall, conversations loop. They feel something slipping, but can't grab it, because you're not where they last measured you. You're already standing, where consequences happen, quietly. That's the danger. Power that shouts can be challenged. Power that moves without drama forces others to reveal themselves. And they are fidgeting, overcorrecting, second-guessing. Meanwhile, you're still that stillness. It's not patience, it's leverage, because leverage isn't about force. It's about not needing to act until everyone else does. I sense it now, that the shift already happened, that whatever move they make next, they'll be reacting to you, not the other way around. And that realization, that's when pressure stops being theoretical and starts tightening, slow, silent, unavoidable. There is no finale, no curtain call, no crowd holding its breath. That's what confuses them most. They were waiting for a moment. A bee, reek down, a declaration, a final move. They could point at and say, there it is, it never came. Because real endgames don't perform. They conclude quietly. Outcomes replace drama, results replace noise, and that feels wrong. To people raised on spectacle, they expect fireworks. Instead, they get paperwork, decisions already made, paths already chosen, no room to intervene. That's why it feels anticlimactic. Because climax is for stories, still trying to convince you something matters. You already decided. You became unpredictable by doing one thing consistently, not reacting, not pivoting for approval, not speeding up. When pressured, consistency is chaos. To those who rely on emotional leverage, they can't provoke you, can't rush you, can't bait you, so they hesitate. A guy. Nen. And fear creeps in, not fear of attack, fear of someone who already accepted loss, because someone who made peace with losing everything can't be threatened. You cross that line, quietly, no announcement, no vow, just acceptance. And acceptance is the last thing control systems expect. The Joker smile, watching them squint at the situation, trying to find the trigger that isn't there. They circle, they test. Nothing, just calm. Calm that doesn't ask, calm that doesn't explain, calm that waits, because it can. That's the final advantage. Not strength, not speed. Composure. Because composure forces everyone else to reveal their hand. They rush, they overplay, they expose priorities. You don't. You already know how this ends. Not with applause, but with alignment. You, standing exactly where you intended, long before anyone noticed you were moving. No witnesses, no validation, just dominance, clarified by absence of resistance. They wanted a showdown. You gave them a conclusion, and that's when it finally hits them. There was never going to be an audience, because endgames aren't meant to be watched. They're meant to be survived. Closed files don't mean F. Finished stories, they mean jurisdiction ends, no authority, no oversight, no follow-ups, just a line. They're no longer allowed to cross. That's what scares them, because systems survive by believing everything has an owner. You proved some things don't. Once a file is closed, they can't reopen it without admitting they lost control. So they pretend you're still where they last recorded you. Out of sight, out of scope. Meanwhile, you're operating beyond their reach. No metrics, no labels, no permissions required. That's where the real rooms are, the ones without applications, no interviews, no waiting lists, secret clubs you don't apply for. You're noticed into them. Entry, ISNT granted, it's assumed, because presence replaces credentials. Monsters retire there, not defea. Ted, obsolete. They don't rage, they don't chase, they step aside. When their methods stop working, angels step aside too, because guidance is only needed until you can stand alone. No saviors, no villains, just autonomy. The Joker taunt. They'll keep refreshing, waiting for an update. That will never come. No new data, no red flags, no closure note, just silence, where control used to be. And silence drives them mad. You don't look back, because looking back reopens doors. You worked hard to close. You walk forward without ceremony. No revenge arc, no victory lap. Just momentum without resistance. That's the irreversible shift. Not dominance, independence, not power over others, power without permission. They'll tell stories to explain your absence. Burnout, failure, luck, anything but the truth. That you outgrew their jurisdiction, that you crossed a line they can't follow without breaking themselves. So the file stays closed, not because they want it to, but because reopening it would prove they never had you. And the final joke, you never needed to escape. You were already somewhere else by the time they noticed the system stopped working on you.